Thank you. Oh, there we go. Thank you so much. It's really an honor to be here. Assalamu alaikum to everyone, and good evening. Senators, both, Consul General Golo, other Consuls General, ministers, my stellar PA, MPP Kadri from Etobicoke. It is, yes, one of your own. Your worships, and Samir and Brian, thank you very much for all that you do to organize CPBC. But I want to just say to Samir particularly, thank you for your gracious enthusiasm for Pakistan-Canadian relationships. It is always wonderful to see you at events. You are always welcoming, and you always have a positive thing to say about what's going on in the world and in Ontario. So I just want to thank you for that. And I want to acknowledge the Chief Minister's message. I have heard it loudly and clearly that I have been invited to Pakistan. And I appreciate that. I appreciate the gracious invitation. I also appreciate the logistics of getting a video made and a message here. And I know that the Chief Minister would have liked to be here. So I just want to acknowledge the work that went into that. Thank you very much. Thank you. And I want to acknowledge, as I do when I make remarks, I want to acknowledge that we're here gathered on the traditional territory of the Mississaugas of the New Credit. And it's important to me that we do that because, you know, we are celebrating a relationship between our two countries and between our province and Pakistan. But it's important that we acknowledge that all of us, except for our Aboriginal people, came from somewhere else. And that's a reality of our diversity, and I think it's the reality in which our diversity is rooted, actually. And there has been a conversation tonight already about peace and the desire for peace in Pakistan, and we all pray for that peace. And I also, yes, we do pray for that peace. Because without a peaceful environment in which to live and to work, it's very hard to be at our best, and we all know that. And I want to just say to everyone here tonight that in Canada, we have our own history that we're dealing with. And right now, in Ottawa, there's an event called the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. The final report of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission is going to be delivered tomorrow. I was there yesterday marching with the communities, the First Nations and Métis and Inuit communities. And I'm talking about this because it is part of our history in Canada that we have had a very disruptive and conflictual relationship with the first people of this country and all of us who came after. And so in order for us to be the best that we can be, in order for us to be truly at peace and to be able to thrive, we need that relationship to be healed. And so I just wanted to acknowledge that because you will be reading about the report of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, and that is work that we have to do as Canadians, all of us, to have that peaceful society that we're capable of. So it is a great pleasure for me to be here, the opportunity to meet with community leaders and business leaders who are making this province strong is a huge privilege. Your commitment to building partnerships through the Canada-Pakistan Business Council is creating new paths to prosperity for Ontario. There is no doubt about that. You bring your intelligence, and you bring your business acumen, and you bring your entrepreneurial spirit to this country, and you are making us stronger. And I'm very pleased to be here to be able to say thank you. Thank you for that work that you have done. Thank you to this organization for advancing that work for 32 years. The Pakistani Canadian community may be relatively young, but in Ontario it's a large community, growing in size and influence, and with that, its impact on our culture and our economy. Ontario is home to the vast majority of Pakistani Canadians, both recent immigrants and those who proudly share Pakistani heritage. This past February, that pride was on full display, as it only can be when cricket is at stake, and Pakistan took on India at the World Cup of Cricket. And I have to say, in the riding that I represent, this is a calamity when Pakistan and India are playing each other. I am completely torn asunder by the rivalry. So as I always say, I am with all of you. I love all of you. As you all know, fans packed the Hershey Center, and families in my riding held a sleepover. This is what happens in Don Valley West. There was a sleepover at Valley Park Middle School because nobody wanted to go home. Everyone wanted to be together to watch the game, and I couldn't be there this time, but I heard about the enthusiasm and the cheering that went on. And on Thursday, I'll be at Valley Park Middle School to open the Go Green cricket field. And I want to thank the Consul General of Pakistan and the members of the Pakistani business community who together contributed $50,000 towards that project. It was a major contribution. Thank you very much. And you know, we're here talking about the hard realities of business and how important those are to the community, but I have to say to you, kids who can play cricket and can feel part of the community and can be part of a renewed school space that allows them to feel like they are a valued part of the community, they will grow up to be people who want to take part in the business community and in the economy of the province. And so it's all connected from my perspective. You can't talk about the economy without talking about those relationships, and those relationships are built very, very early, and cricket is part of that. So, because the pitch that's being built is about more than cricket. It's a statement about the contributions that you've made to this province and this country, and that those are being recognized. It shows that our partnerships are working and that now is the time to strengthen and build on those. The minister talked about the trade figures between our province and Pakistan, that they're not comparable at this point to those of the United States or China. But to me, all that says is that we need to work harder to find those opportunities. And under my predecessor, Ontario was the first to lead a provincial trade mission to Pakistan. And as I plan my international trips as Premier, I am very hopeful that I'll be able to follow up that mission. Inshallah, I will be there. Because it is my job as Premier to open those doors. We know that Ontario has plenty to offer if given the opportunity. Amir Dossal, who is Samir's brother, as you met earlier, we were just talking about the building of infrastructure and the need for the private sector and the public sector to work together. That's what we're doing in Ontario. The fact that we're putting $130 billion into infrastructure over the next 10 years, we cannot do that without working with the private sector. So those partnerships are extremely, extremely important. And I know that you have come from New York, but the same issues in infrastructure challenges are here in Ontario as they are in New York, as they are in Chicago, or as they are all over North America. So it's very important that we recognize that we have a lot to offer in terms of the work that we're doing here. So whether it's financial services, whether it's agri-food, clean technologies, financing, or whether it's innovations coming out of our startup culture that Minister Moridi is working on. We know that we have products and know-how that Pakistan and the world needs to achieve sustainable economic growth. And you know that. You are the connectors. You are the people who understand how that relationship can be strengthened. So We want to work with you. We want to make sure that our 4-part plan, which includes that investment in people and their talent and skills, and our investments in infrastructure, and the creation of a dynamic business climate, that all of that works for you. And the final part of our plan, which is the security of retirement after people have worked, that's part of our plan too, and that's part of a strong economy and a strong society. So we know that our plan is working. We are, in fact, at this point, forecasts are calling for Ontario to lead Canada in economic growth. We've been through a rough time, there's no doubt about that, but we are coming out of that, and Ontario is now taking its place in terms of leadership in the country in terms of economic growth. So that leadership is very important, but it's also important what kind of growth that we are engendering and the impact that that growth has on the environment, on our people, and the future growth potentials. And that's why the partnerships that we build through organizations like this are so very important. You help us open doors, you help us deepen relationships, and you create new ways of growing and sharing in the benefits of that growth. So once again, thank you very, very much for all that you do. I look forward to our ongoing and strengthened partnership. And as I said earlier, inshallah, I will be in Pakistan very soon. Thank you very much. Merci.